Alright guys, I'm going to show you today how to use OBS and do simple live streaming for either your YouTube, your church service, or your teaching class because everyone is online right now and it's just good to know. With that, I do have a caveat that a lot of people have been buying streaming equipment, including um, cameras, capture cards, and uh, capture boards and things like that. But I will go through a few things with you guys. Give it a couple of weeks or maybe a month or two, and everything should drop back down in price once the economy gets back to normal because, right now everyone's running price and demand, which is pretty much price gouging at this point, and capture cards that were $80 are now like 400. And that's just the 1080p version, not the 4K. The 4K is closer to the actual price, but of like $300 because it's in 4K. But I would just suggest the 1080p because most people don't have a 4K camera. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna show you guys OBS and give you some suggestions on how to capture your card. Right now I'm doing what's called a display capture. You can see down here in my sources, that's this what you're seeing right now. Sorry about the infinite mirror effect, but that's just because I'm capturing the actual screen on my computer, which you can do that pretty simply. But let's start over here on the far left and go in order with sources. Now your sources are basically just like um, your visual screens. So if you want to have, let's say I have this on here as my thing that I'm showing you right now. So you guys can see that. And if I go down to scene, I already set up this big B here for you. And it's going to show you just the big B. You won't see my camera, my computer anymore. So what we can do is you can go here and set up your scenes if you want to. And once you have your scene ready, you can go into sources, and your sources are basically everything that shows up on that screen for that source. So basically you have your scene is your image, your sources are what are on top of that image. So if I wanted to just make a source, I can just call it source 3, boom, you'll get this nice black nothing. You guys can't see my screen anymore, but in that square here, it's just blank. So I can add in things from that scene to this scene, which will overlay anything that I want. Now, there's audio input, there are audio output captures, there are browsers, so if I want to show something that I'm browsing on, display captures, images, you can do video sources. If you have a capture card, you can actually show your camera live feed. I just don't have mine right now to show you, but I will once I get that back. So let's see. You can add just everything, and this second section over here is basically just what's going to go into this box. So if I wanted to add, say, let's add an image to this box that you're going to see is going to have. Sorry, my computer's being slow because I'm running at the same time as recording with in the same program, so it's just has a little bit of a latency on it. So you hit browse and you can go down to, let's say, just like downloads, and I have an A here, so let's just add the A, hit open, and there's oops Let's do that again. Image. Browse. A. Open. It'll pop it up. Hit OK. And now I have an A on my screen. Now if you see these little red dots, that's only because I'm showing you what I'm seeing. If I was just streaming this out, they wouldn't see the blue background or the dots. That's just because I'm showing you what I'm seeing right now. You can make this bigger, you can make it smaller, and you can move it around the screen wherever you want it to. And that's just, you can make these in Photoshop. So if you want like a border, or you want to put like yourself over here in the corner and then have like everything else in here somewhere, and then you want to have like maybe a ticker tape or something down here, you can design like a background to do that. There are ways of doing different things. So let's get rid of that A. You can either go in, right click, and remove, or if you want to keep it there but you just don't want it to be seen, you can hit the little eyeball and it'll disappear from whoever's watching your live stream. The only reason why you're seeing this stuff now is, again, because I'm showing you my own screen, not streaming out to you. So that's basically your steps. So you have your scenes, and then which are your images, and then you have, within those images, you have your layers of whatever content you want to have over that. Your second part is your audio mixer. Audio mixers are your microphones, or if you're running a soundboard, you can hook up your soundboard to your computer. This one has a bunch of different levels to it, but the levels on it aren't really active right now. So, I mean, I can show you advanced audio settings, and here you have like your balance for left and right, your different mics and the volumes, the syncs if you're off sync on something, just a whole bunch of different things that you could play around with, which I'll show you more in when we get to studio mode here in a second. Now you have your scene transitions, you have cut and fade. So if you're going to go to like scene 2, it does a fade in, fade out, or if you just want it to cut, it'll just go boom and cut into it. I personally like fade when if I'm playing around with my scenes, but usually I don't really mess with the scenes anyways. I just set it up to where it's just capturing me and I can show you guys stuff on it. If I had my capture card, I would be doing this a little bit differently, because I would have my Nikon D32 filming me while talking to you guys, and having myself probably in one of the corners here while I show you what's going on, and then I wouldn't have to capture it, but I don't have it right now. So yeah, so now over here you have your controls. You have start streaming, which I will get to how to set up your stream before we play with that button. That is basically if you're sending it out to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, whatever platform you're using, that just starts your stream. Right now I'm recording. If I hit the stop recording button, you will not have anything. It's just, that's because I'm recording it right now. It would say start recording, but because I am recording, it just says stop recording, which I can stop it if I hit that. I can also pause it, so if I just need to take a break, grab a drink or something, I can do that and come back and start streaming again, recording again. And now you have studio mode, which again I don't really use, but if you're going to do something with transitions, it'll show a preview, and then like over here it'll show the program. So, and this is your preview, and this is your program. It's really, you just have to kind of mess around with it. I don't typically use it, And so we can get out of studio mode, but if you like having the split screen of the preview and the program, that's cool. Just kind of mess around with it, get used to it. Settings are awesome. Exit, obviously, is exit. I can just jump on that real quick and kill that step. Now, settings are really where we're going to play around with, because this is where you get yourself set up for actual streaming. Now, with this one, general, I would just kind of leave it alone unless you like going through every single thing and setting them up the way that you like. The main ones that we're looking at now are going to be your stream. Output, I would really leave alone. I can do you guys a little favor and do your stream and your recordings. Stream, you can set up your bit rate. I'm doing 4,000 kilobytes per second. I'm running it through just my software, and my audio bitrate is 144. You can either do 144 if you like a little bit more clarity and beefy. You can do 124. And if you know more about audio, then you can actually go up and mess around with those settings as well. I'm not gonna, if you find that another setting is better for you, more power to you. Recordings, you have your recording path. This is where it's going to save your document. So if you want to change that, it won't let me do it right now because I am recording, but you can go in there, you can pick your desktop, a certain file, or if you have like a recordings file that you've made for your recordings, you can drop all of your recordings into that file, so that way you can find them when you're done recording. You have recording quality. Right now I'm doing high quality, medium file size, so it doesn't take up a whole bunch of my memory. And then I'm recording MP4. It has pretty much every format setting that you want to do, so if you don't like MP4 for some reason, that's fine. You also have your encoder, so if you have a different kind of encoder than just your software, you can pick that and it'll encode with that software. And of course you have your customize settings here, and then you have enable replay buffer. I usually don't mess with that stuff. Usually here, and then these like few bits right here are really what you need to know, and that's everything's personal choice, but these are just the settings that I have because they work for me when I do my streaming. Alright, so let's jump into the actual stream settings for you. And what we'll do is go up here to stream. Now you'll see that you have service, server, and stream key. On service, you have a bunch of different options like Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, Facebook, Twitter, which is kind of complicated if you don't already have that kind of information to do Twitter, but it's possible. We're going to do YouTube or Facebook. Again, it's depending on which one you want to stream to first, but I would suggest doing YouTube and then simply dropping the URL into Facebook instead of having to do either both live or doing just Facebook Live, because if you do both, you probably will be eating up your CPU and slowing down your computer. And yeah, basically I would just kind of skip that. But let's just do YouTube/YouTube Gaming, server, primary YouTube, integrate server would be your basic idea there. Is just kind of leave those settings alone, and then you have your stream key. Now your stream key, I'm going to open up my YouTube here, and I'll show you guys how to get that information. Okay, so come on. All right, so when we're talking about stream keys, I'm going to show you guys how to do that in YouTube, and I'll do that now for you. So you're going to go to your YouTube account, and you're going to go to your channel, which will be up here. You'll hit the channel, hit your icon, go to your channel, and then up here is a create live stream or download video button. You'll hit that. I'm not going to do webcam just because I'm not really using a webcam. We're going to stream. You're going to go into stream. That'll change it for you. You're going to create a title, and the title could be just about anything. You can do my video test. Okay. Test. There we go. You can choose if you want it to be public. Anyone can search for it and view it. Unlisted, anyone with link can view it, or private, only you can view it. I don't see why that is an option because you probably are going live to get as many people watching it as possible. You can do a thumbnail for people who are watching it on your YouTube. You can do either your logo or a picture or whatever you want to upload. You can upload that before you start streaming. Your audience, it's going to ask you this because of COPPA, which is the Children Online Protective Privacy Protection Act. COPPA, COPPA, the Child Online Privacy Protection Act. Basically, you can't advertise to kids, so they ask you if you're making this for kids. You're going to say no. It's not for kids. You're going to pick your type of title here, your type of genre, and you have a bunch of different ones. If you're doing, like let's say a church setting, or you're a non-for-profit, you'd probably do for non-for-profit or activism, or you may do entertainment, but that's kind of depending on what you're actually doing, or education. If you're a school, you do education just because that's what you're doing. So you can just click that, boom. Schedule for later. I don't see why you would do a live stream and schedule it to be put out later. You probably just want that to be downloaded as soon as you're done. And that's how you get that set up. And just make sure that you hit the no age restriction, unless you're going to be cussing every 5 seconds or you're doing some kind of graphic gameplay thing. I really wouldn't worry about it. It just restricts people under 18 to see it. So if you're playing, maybe you're playing a violent video game, you're playing Doom on your computer, and there'll be blood and violence, yeah, then put that on 18 and older. But if you're not doing anything like that, then don't worry about it. Just leave it at no, don't restrict viewing over 18. And then you're going to hit create stream. Now you do have to do this every time that you go into it, just so YouTube can make a file for you, and you can it's basically going to save it as a video for you as well. When you're done, it'll automatically save it to YouTube for you, so you don't even have to do anything after that. So basically you're making your video and then you're putting it as a live stream, but then it'll copy itself to YouTube automatically for you. So here we have our stream settings, our analytics, and our stream health. Your stream health is just going to show you your messages. It's going to give you stream status, tell you if you're lagging out, if you're up to date. Your analytics is going to tell you how many people are chatting, playbacks, average watch time, current viewers, if you're interested in statistics like that, and your stream settings. Now, if you look here in this big box here, this is going to be your streaming view here. This is where you will be, whatever you're streaming out will pop up. Over here you have the live chat. You can drop in whatever you want to say. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the stream, or thank you for joining our service or our educational class today. And kind of put that out there for whoever, if someone's watching the stream, or just be like, hey, thanks for joining us. And then you have you have all these other different things here that I really don't worry about. But what we're really looking at right now, stream latency, normal latency, low latency, ultra low latency, is basically the time between what you've actually said and when it actually goes on stream. It's usually, if you have a good internet and you're actually hooked up into your Ethernet is connected to your computer, you shouldn't really have too much latency, so I would just leave it on normal. Now you have stream key, which is very important. I'm not going to show you guys mine because it is not needed for you guys to see it, but the stream key is basically how you get what you're streaming from OBS over to YouTube. So what you'll do is you'll go here, it has a nice little copy button, and that will copy to your clipboard, and then you go over here to OBS, and you go into your stream, and here's your stream key again. I had an old stream on here. You're going to kind of shadow that, hit your delete button, poof, gone. And then you just basically right click and paste. Now you have that stream going. You can hit OK. And then once you get that all set up, what you're going to do is you're going to hit start streaming. You can stream and record at the same time, but YouTube is already recording your stream for you, so you don't really necessarily have to worry about that because it's already dropping it into YouTube for you, unless you really want to go back and edit it and then drop it edited later on. But again, you're doing live, so it really wouldn't matter that much. Now, you'd hit start streaming, and that doesn't start you streaming over here in YouTube, but it starts the OBS and YouTube to talk to each other. And once that happens, this guy who is sitting here swirling around will actually pop up the image that you have here. So if you want to start with maybe your logo or a countdown clock or a show starting soon or service starting soon, I have the big B, which you see now. You just will be staring at whatever's on that scene, and so this screen will pop up over here. So whatever you have over on OBS, you want to make sure that it's what you want to start streaming with, and that you have your audio either muted here or that you have it not streaming through there, or you have some kind of designated music on that part. So that way people aren't just hearing whatever's going on in the room until the pastor starts speaking, unless you have a CCLI licensing or you have a music license to broadcast music. Then you don't have to worry about that. You can actually stream out your entire worship service. The licensing does cost money, so that's depending on what kind of budget you have for your for whatever you're streaming. But I would just say pop on a countdown, mute the audio, and then when you're ready, just bring it back up. Whenever whoever's going to start talking, pop them on, and then bring up your audio again. Not a big deal. So you hit start streaming, it'll pop up over here in this little stream, and then you can go up here to go live. Now that will connect your stream to YouTube, and once that happens, you can go to you can either go and open up a new tab or use your phone, go to your channel again, find your streaming live, and I would just copy and paste or share it to Facebook, because that would be like the easiest way of doing it. Or you can go down here and they give you a stream URL, and this is what they will be doing. They will make this for you when you start your live show. You can just copy that and just go to your Facebook and drop it in whatever page you're using.
and that's even faster than having to go and find it. So that's what I would do in that. So now we're going to go into the next step.
Your audio, again, if you do 441 hertz, kilohertz, that's one of the better ones. On my computer, it only does 441 or 48. 441 is pretty much my base on that. You have all of your channels. I just do stereo because I don't really care to mess with that too much, and it sounds fine to me. Now you have your devices. This is where you can kind of pick what devices you want to run. I have mine in the auxiliaries. You have desktop audios. I'm not really running any sound right now, so nothing's popping up. And then you have your audio 1 through 4. I'm using a built-in microphone here. I could do disabled, which you wouldn't be able to hear me. Default, which would be basically whatever it's set to on the computer. Built-in microphone, which is what I'm hooked into right now because I'm taking over the jack in the back. And then built-in input would be the other side of that as well. So everything that we're using, and then you have, of course, all your other ones. So if you have like a four mic hookup, it'll distinct that, but you have to have a plug-in that will distinct all of your audio hookup. So if you're doing like a podcast and everyone needs a microphone, you can hook them up, but you need like a splitter that tells the computer, okay, there's 4 microphones on here, so you can actually mess around with each person's microphone. Now, down here you have meters. Again, I really don't mess with that. You have fast, medium, and slow, and uh, peak master type. I just do simple. You can do true. It really doesn't matter, but that uses a higher CPU rating. So I try and keep my CPU down because your CPU is your processing. It makes your computer either slow or will start shutting down programs that you're using if you're using too many. Advanced monitoring device, I'm just using USB. You can pick whatever you want. Your hotkeys, you have different ones for your audio mixing. There's another thing here with hotkeys that we'll go into in a little bit. Next setting is video. Video, I mean, I leave these alone. I'm recording right now, so it's not going to let me mess with them. But you have your output, which is basically what you guys are seeing now. It's at 1280 by 720, which is basically the amount of information that you're getting and the quality of the image that you're seeing. So, and that's the base, your output, your downscale filter, and then your common FPS values. And I just leave those alone because I don't want to mess with those until I know more about them. So, I mean, and you're fine if you don't mess with them. Your hotkeys, you have your start streamings. You can add or get rid of or trash them. So, like, let's say you wanted your stop streaming to be 1. You can put in 1. You can add, and then you'd have a hotkey for that. And then boom, it'll just be like, okay, I want to start streaming. You hit 1, and it'll turn it on for you. Hit 1 again, it'll turn it off for you. So that, and then it has your start recordings, pause recordings, and just little hotkeys on your keypad here. You also have your scene, so switch scene, show display, capture, show image, and different ones. So like if you want to set up your scenes with different images, so let's say you're like a church and you want to have your open, this screen will be like your logo, and then you want to go down to scene 2, and your scene 2 will be your live feed for your camera. So you're like starting your service, you can just click down and boom, it'll switch over to all of that for you. So let's get into some of the gear that you will need. If you're running, let's say you're running Pro Presenter, let's open that up now. There is a way to put that on here, but you're going to either need uh, a really beefy computer, which most people don't have. I'm running the free version, so don't mind that. Um, you're going to either need a really beefy computer or you're going to need another computer that has ProPres on it that you'll be doing all of this on. So if I'm doing it just on this designated computer and it's not streaming out to the actual congregation in-house, it would be better because now you have a designated computer for just streaming. Here we have setups. I'm not going to do that now. Let's go back here and I'll get into all of the ProPresenter stuff here in a second, but let's look at different streaming options. Now, the first streaming option is if you want to have control. This is the ATEM Mini. It's $295, and there's a reason for that. Also, there's the Television Studio. That's if you have someone who has a whole lot of time on their hands and can do like basically your whole television product. But for $295, you can get this. This is kind of a basic video switcher. Um, you can get this on Amazon. Let me see, do I have the ATEM one? And here's what it looks like on the actual web on Amazon. It's a little bit more expensive on Amazon, but that's because they're doing free shipping and they added pretty much in the shipping price for getting it to you. So it's almost it's basically what you'd be paying on site. They actually have some products on this one at least. A lot of these again are being taken up because we have Coco, and Coco is making everyone want to do live streaming for some reason, or at least jumping on YouTube. Um, and to be honest, YouTube doesn't work like that. You can't just jump on and just start making money. But if you're just doing it for fun or you want to try and make it your job, more power to you. Now, there's a bunch of different things on here. You'd have to really, I would suggest just reading the manual. I don't particularly use this one, but it has the most toys for your dollar. So you have picture in picture, so you can put picture top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. You can turn it on and off. You can do like a side angle there, top and bottom, left image, push, mix, dips, durations for your cuts, and you have a whole bunch of other things. You can do still, you can do blackouts, and just a whole bunch of other things for what you're doing. The good thing is you have these little switchers 1 through 4. That means that you can have 4 cameras going at one time, or you can mix in your computer at the same time as your camera. So if you want to toggle back and forth to your Pro Presenter, you can toggle it back and forth once you figure out how to actually do that on there. Again, if you decide to get this one, just read the manual or jump back on here because I don't have the ATM Mini, so I'm not fully proficient on it, but there are videos on here with people who can teach you how to do basically everything with it, and here's the full view of it. So if you just want to take a look at all of the little things that you can do with it, that's cool. Again, it's going to run you $315. There are people who are selling capture devices for about that much right now because price and demand, and I call that price gouging because this little guy here, this is the 4K. I run the 1080p. It looks the same. It's just the quality is beefed up on it to be 4K instead of 1080. It looks the same. It's just a little card. They don't have any left on the website for the 4K. it is sold out, and because of that, and they can't, because of the cocoa, they can't really make any more at production right now, apparently. So they do have different places like Best Buy that you can buy them from. I wouldn't suggest going for 4K unless you have a 4K. If you a 4K camera, if you have a regular camera, then the 1080p one would be what you're looking for. I found it on Amazon. Let me see, Elgato. This is a different version. It's basically the same thing. This is the HD, the high def 60s. It basically does the same thing, except for this one is 179. So 179 versus the $300. That's $200 difference. If you're looking to save money, that would be an option, and it's basically just an HDMI out um, with a power. Let me show you this one here. Okay, so you have your HDMI from your camera or your game system, and you have a power source there, so power the system, and then you have your HDMI out to your computer, so you can go in and play the games, or stream yourself doing your YouTube stuff. It's $179, but compared to the Beast here, 315, you're saving yourself a couple $100. Which one you choose is kind of up to you. It's your options, or you can wait. Hopefully, in a couple months, these prices will drop down for the Elgatos because even the regular card on eBay is going for like $400, and that's ridiculous because it's just a 1080p. It's not a 4K. As you can see on the ATEM, this is the Blackmagic design website for the ATEM. These people here on the promo have two cameras set up right now, and they're hooked up to their computer. So you can do up to 4 cameras, or you can do uh, 3 cameras and an output. So if you want to play around with that stuff, that's cool too. So those are kind of your options. If you want to get something small, compact, the Camlink is obviously going to be the one, but I would suggest not forking out $400 for the 1080p, um, because that's just overpriced. They were $80 when I got them, so that's like major markup for it. The 4K one is about two something, so they're charging you an extra $200 just to have it. Again, price and demand. I don't make the rules. I just don't buy from people who do that. So, and of course, you can get the HD 60s for 179. It does pretty much the same thing. It is made for people who are playing games and want to stream their games to their computer to do like Twitch, but it works the same. So let's see what else you will need. If you have a camera, I'm not really going to show you guys cameras right now. I'm running Nikon D32. I'm looking to get the 355, I believe, the one that has more of a Wi-Fi capacity, so I can throw my images onto my computer without having to take out my SD card, because SD cards have little metal prongs on them and they get worn out real quick when you're always taking them in and out. So that's, something. Now, with that being said, that's pretty much all that I can really tell you about how to do live streaming. Um, the capture card goes right into your computer. You do have to have a 3.0 USB port. So regular computers usually use 2.0. The faster ones either have the blue, or you can go into your computer and find out if you have a 3.0. Um, Sometimes you can just see because most of the USBs have blue tips, but sometimes they don't. Apple usually likes to keep everything color coded, so the entire back of your computer will be black, so they won't have the blue tips for the 3.0. With that being said, there are also converters that you can get fairly cheap online. Amazon, Walmart will have USB 2 to USB 3 converters for you, and it's not a big deal to just jump in and get those things. So, all right, guys, I'm going to show you real quick how to use your OBS and your ProPresenter at the same time here. So let me open up my ProPresenter for you. And all right, so on ProPresenter, you can actually show your presentations on your screen. I'm running a free version just to show you guys because I don't want to have to buy the ProPresenter just to show you guys what to do when I can just do this. So mind you, if you're going to use this for your outputs, there is a way to get it to where you can have live uh, image over your image, which you'd basically just come down here and make a blank. I would do lower thirds, and then you can overlay them um, in OBS, which I will show you guys how to do that in another video because I don't have my capture card. So with that being said, how do you get your OBS and your ProPresenter to talk to each other? It's fairly simple. What you're going to do is you're going to go up here to, if you're running on Mac, go up to the ProPresenter 6, open up your preferences. You're going to have all these different things. You're going to have live video. I don't have a video source right now, but you would go to video source, pick your video source, and then it would pop up here. It'd give you more. Of course, it would give you a few more options. But we're going to go over to display. And what you want to do here is get your enable siphon. Okay. Once you enable your siphon, that will allow it to be transferred to OBS. So in OBS, down in your sources, you have the little plus button. There will be a thing called a game capture siphon. And what that's going to do is, I don't have my card here, so it's not going to let me do it, but it's going to take that information and throw it over as a game capture. And it's going to throw it into your screen. So basically, whatever you see over in ProPresenter will be shown over here. There's ways of getting your image and your ProPresenter to show at the same time without using ProPresenter as the main source. I will have to get into that later once I have my capture device back, but that's basically how you do it. So yeah, thank you guys again for watching. Give a like and a thumbs up and a follow to this video. Alright, see you guys.